King Tut today. I'm gonna have incense. Gonna do frankincense and myrrh today because I'm about to get really deep and go some places that I knew one day I would go. Keep going. Oh, that's it. Let your incense to light, the first light. And my incense on first, because that frankincense and myrrh really puts you in a relaxed state. Light my candle in the south. Put my water in the west. So you can see everything. Facing the east, where my incense is. Acknowledging my ancestors in the west. At the setting sun in the east, where the sun rises. The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. Goes around the beautiful earth. This is my carnelian crystal, putting here in the north, right behind my ancestor, King Tut. And today I'm going to be talking to you about sigils, but before we get into sigils and magic, I want to talk to you about the mystery or the conspiracy behind King Tut and the different types of magic that we have and the origin of magic, so that we're clear about what kind of magic we're doing when we do our sigil magic, okay? All right, let's begin. I call upon the ancestors of the east and the elements of air to join us in this circle. I call upon the ancestors of the south and the elements of fire to join us in this circle. I call upon the ancestors of the west and the elements of water to join us in this circle. And I call upon the ancestors of the north and the elements of earth to join us in this circle. This circle is now closed and protected. We're going to do 4 sets of 8, 8, 8, or the alpha state breath. So let's begin by breathing in for 8 counts, holding it for 8 counts, and releasing it for 8 counts. Let's begin. very relaxed. So today I kept my hands in the prayer pose. This is also a mudra, very centering mudra. And today I'm going to talk to you about sigil magic. But before I do the sigil magic video, I want to talk to you about the mystery of King Tut and where we get our magic from. There are two main schools of thought right now out about magic that you'll find on the internet. One is called high magic and one is called low magic. So in an effort to be fair and balanced, we don't judge one another's magic. We stay balanced, we stay neutral, we stay open, we stay relaxed, we stay centered, and we stay focused on the one within, okay? And if each one of us would do that, then we wouldn't have all of this controversy, okay? Now, I have some notes I wrote here, and I'm going to have to refer to my notes to make sure that I cover everything. So, in order to understand magic, I'm just going to make some very blunt statements, and then if you have questions or comments, just leave them for me below and I'll answer them there. Number one, magic, the modern form of magic that we have today or even understand today, originated in ancient Kemet or Egypt. That's the source of our magic, okay? So whether we want to call it high or low, black or white, dark or light, good or evil, whatever you want to call it, in order to really understand it and what it is, it's important to go back to the source. And I think that you will agree with that. So when we go back to ancient Kemet, or what we'll call Egypt, because Kemet is still being restored, okay? Kemet is in a restoration period right now as the gods return, as the ancient ones come back, as the ancestors reveal themselves, as they're doing for you right now in this video, okay? The ancestors are returning and they're coming through us. And we are the ancient ones here, again, restoring the priesthood, restoring the ancient ways, the traditional ways, to bring us back in harmony with the one, to bring us back in harmony with nature, with the creator, with our own being, so that we can function properly the way we were created to function, with knowledge and with our hearts and with love, okay? So let me just get right into why there's a controversy in the magic world and what it has to do with King Tut and why it's important that you watch this video and that I share this video. So I do intend to share this video, okay? Because this message its time has come. And it's time to put the conspiracy and the mystery of King Tut to rest and to understand truly what it was all about. So a lot of you may have heard of Akhenaten. And Akhenaten was the pharaoh of ancient Egypt around the 19th dynasty. And if you've tried to do any research on ancient Egypt, you'll find that most of what is being presented to us, just like in school, is a one-sided story. So it'll be very difficult for you to get any history or any information outside of the 19th dynasty, because it is the 19th dynasty that is ruling still to this day, through Akhenaten, through monotheism, through Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and has kept the earth locked into a dark period, a dark phase, which I mean to say ignorance, and a place where there's a great need for enlightenment, imbalance, so to speak, okay? So we can look with our eyes and see the condition of the world today and understand that there's a need for more knowledge and more understanding and more light. Well, this is what King Tut represented in his day, and his ancestors before him, and the priesthood before him. And it was his father who never really acknowledged him in history, and some even suspect murdered him. But it was his father that started a rebellion in ancient Egypt and turned over the priesthood and destroyed the ancient ways and created his own religion that was very short-lived, I might add, but set the tone for a change and a shift in ancient Kemet to turn it into the Egypt that we know of today, which is almost obsolete if it wasn't for the memory of our ancestors that wrote the message, the true message of our history on the temple walls. And it was our ancestors and priests that wrote over and over and over and over and over on scrolls. It was their job and their responsibility to keep the traditions and the ancestral ways alive, because it would be the only way we would have back to the true knowledge of who we are and where we came from, the stars. Okay? So with that being said, Akhenaten started his rebellion. He traipsed a whole bunch of people out of Kemet and started a new city called Armana. And this city is in rubble and ruin today. And 17 years after Akhenaten reigned from Armana, he died, and those Egyptians traipsed right back, and Egypt ultimately fell, okay? So, with that being said, I want you to do as much research as you possibly can, excuse me, and I'm going to do my best now. I know you can't see this well in this video, but just listen to what I'm saying, take really good notes, and I will post this image on the page so you can study it. Now, there are many scholars out there, and I'm not one of them, okay? Everything that I'm telling you from cellular memory with little cues like this. This image is a cue for me, okay? So some books and information that I've seen are cues for me, but the knowledge is in my cellular memory, and I hold it within. So I don't need a teacher. All I need is my visual cues. And that's why they were left here for us, so that we could meditate on them and activate our cellular memory. Because you can't erase that, Akhenaten. So, if you look at this scroll is known as the Judgment Scroll. Some people call it the Papyrus of Ani, and it can be found in the Book of the Dead. It is made out of papyrus. It was very difficult for me to put it up here, but I did the best that I could because I really wanted to share this information with you. I'm just going to roll through it real quickly, and again, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll answer you. But what this is really depicting is our spirituality as human gods, as divine creator beings on earth, fulfilling our mission and our purpose for being here. Because we understand that we are all, we are everything, and we are one, okay? So when you look at this, you want to look at this as you, going through different phases and different stages of your spirituality, of your psychology, of your conscious and your subconscious experience as you go from man back to God. Okay? You are a man and you are God in one. And your mission here on earth is to have this experience. And for each one of us is different. So you can't put each person in a box and hold them to anything that you think that they need or should be doing. Because each one is God and each one is having its experience as God. each one. So you have to allow for that and be open to that, but understanding the big picture. And that's what this is, the big picture. So up here in the heavenly realms, we have the ancestors here. So we understand that there is an above and there is a below. And just as there are humans in the higher realms, there are humans in the lower realms. And right here, you have a human. Now some say that this man is a king, and this is a beautiful way to look at it. There's a man here, and he's being escorted by a god. And some call this god Anubis or Anpu. But the reason you see them first here at the beginning of the procession is because this is the entryway into godhood. You must first meet with the gatekeeper, with the guardian, with the guard dog, Anubis, Anpu. And Anpu, or Anubis, is an aspect of your higher self. Anpu is the doorkeeper to your spirituality. Once you begin to wonder about your spirituality and seek spiritual information, Anpu, or Anubis, opens that gate for you. And so you start working with Anubis. And Anubis will guide you. But where Anubis is going to guide you is to Maat, because you must first pass the scales of balance before you can proceed further. So this is a big part of magic. If you're not balanced, your magic won't be balanced and you will have problems. And these crocodiles down here will deal with you. The crocodiles are your own demons that are put there to keep you in line. Now, it's important that you understand that so that you can go ahead and bypass those demons. Listen to your higher self and get balanced with Maat, which is balance, mercy, justice, truth, all that good stuff that's in your heart. That's why your heart is on the balance scale, because your heart must be lighter than a feather. Okay? And this is what your higher self will teach you. To judge your own heart, to look at your own heart, to keep your heart balanced and open and free. Light as a feather and free as the wind. Okay? So once you go through that initiation, then you're going to meet with Thoth or Tahuti. And Tahuti or Thoth is the master of wisdom, the master of science, the master of thought. Okay? I should be using my wand here. So you can see here that he has a pen and a palette that he's writing on. He is the creator of the written word, which is the beginning principles of magic. So when you're writing, you're doing a magical act. So these are your first initiations into magic, is through writing, through the written word, and also through the spoken word. Okay? And you will learn these things as you access your higher mind, your higher thought. And there's a whole school of thought here in Thoth. And he is said to have written the books of Thoth, which are many, and the emerald tablets, which I have here. This is the emerald tablet of Thoth. And you can get this on Amazon. It's a beautiful book. And it is an initiation to your higher self. It is initiation to your purpose here. And if you're where you should be, you'll understand it. And if not, just hold on to it. Okay, so then here we have the king again. Okay, now after he has passed through all of these schools of thought, now he has connected to Heru or to Horus, which is the son of God. He has opened up his heart, filled his mind and his thoughts with knowledge, come into alignment with his true source, God creator within, and come into the knowledge of Heru or into the knowledge of Horus. Okay? Which is another whole school of thought within itself, and a beautiful experience when you get into your heart space, into that love space, self-love, self-knowledge of being God, of being creator, of being one. being one with Source and one with yourself in complete love, harmony, and unity with the universe, with all of your ancestors and all of yourselves. Okay? So then Horus will escort you. You're almost to the throne. Once you come into your heart, you're almost there. And here is Osiris, or Asar, sitting on the throne with the 4 sons of Horus. This is the magical principles of earth, air, fire, and water. You are a master magician now. You are in connect union with the Godhead. And then you have the goddesses behind, which is Isis and Nephti. Nephti is the master magician and student and wife of Tahuti or Thoth. Aset or Isis, her sister, came together to resurrect Osiris from the dead. So he was dead when he entered into his life experience until he came into the light of knowledge of self. And then he was awakened through his heart and his mind and inspired within to go back to himself. And it is through the principles of magic that he was able to accomplish that. Okay? So I did my absolute best to share that with you, and I hope that I explained it well. All right, now, with that being said, I want to make a mention of the higher and the lower self and chaos magic, okay? So chaos magic is pulling energy from the abyss of chaos, of darkness, where there is no light. It's just void energy, and pulling that into your magical purposes. This is coming from a deep, deep, deep lower energy source, okay? Now, down there is a whole nother world that you don't remember, and you will not remember it until you wake up. So, in my opinion, it is better that you avoid that until you are very well versed in magic. I didn't cover it fully in the scroll, but Osiris was murdered by his lower nature. He was murdered by Set, okay? And the lower nature stands for Set, or Setan, or Setian, or Satan. And it was the lower nature, or Satan, that killed Osiris and lowered him to death. And it was through magic that the ancestors were able to remember him and put his members back together and give us this process of self-initiation to wake ourselves back up from the lower worlds and ascend back into the higher realms of Godhood and God consciousness to remember who we are. So then we can come back through and heal and explore and understand and move in the lower realms without getting lost and getting cut off and killed and destroyed again. So with that being said, I hope that I made myself clear. Yes, I think I made myself clear. If you want to know more about the topics that I'm discussing, they can be covered in this book to some extent. The basic principles of magic in this self-initiation, initiation into Hermetics by Franz Bardone. Study magic, understand the Hermetic or ancient Egyptian / Kemetic principles of magic. They've already been preserved for us. All we need to do is practice them. Okay? So I'm going to close the video out with that information, and I'm going to do sigil magic in the next video, and I look forward to you joining me then.